expect to pay some more for the fish you consume, following the widespread hoarding and reselling of premix fuel to fishermen at exorbitant prices by politically connected individuals and smuggling cartel in the central and Volta regions. Premix fuel is supposed to be sold to fishermen at a little over 7 cedis, but it is currently being dished out to them at 20 cedis per litre. 3 years ago, the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, promised to digitize the distribution of premix fuel, which has been subsidized by government, to get rid of the supply chain of middlemen who mostly hoard the product and sell to the fishermen at exorbitant prices. Well, JoyNews has investigated how the politicization of the newly constituted Premix Committee is compounding the plight of fisher folks in the country. In 2019, JoyNews investigated the underhand dealings of a cartel hoarding and trading premix fuel at exorbitant prices. The investigations further revealed how the operations of the cartel also created an artificial shortage of the commodity at the landing beaches along the coast of Ghana. The management of the premix supply and distribution is not only an issue of livelihood, but a political one that caught President Akufo-Addo's attention to make a firm promise of reforms and the introduction of new moves aimed at resolving the problems.
Given efficient distribution of premix fuel, we will continue to use the premix fuel tracking system and ordered landing beaches measures which have ensured that since November there's been no report of premix diversion.
3 years ago, JoyNews investigations revealed that there were many middlemen aggressively buying, hoarding and selling premix fuel.
Because you won't go far or landing beach in Udon. My one a big cry about electricity. I mean, bigger or child or classroom. Teacher, no what now but two. Premise no. No to my hand.
No one is checking these cartels. There are more fishermen in need of premix fuel. That is, the demand at the landing beaches far exceeds supply. Secretary of the Premix Committee in Commander, Charles Williamson, agrees.
So whenever the tanker of fuel comes, people are starting struggling. You are struggling to get yours, others are struggling. And you can hear a lot of words about governance and so. I mean, you can hear all these words coming out. Why? Because the fuel is not coming enough for the fisheries. The canoes are more than the fuel that we receive.
Vice President Dr. Bawumia 3 years ago promised to digitize the distribution of premix. Under this arrangement, no individual could buy premix without showing an ID card identifying him as a fisherman. This has only been piloted in the Greater Accra region. Today, the story is no different. At the Central, Western and Volta regions, unbridled hoarding by the cartel and politicization of the premix fuel distribution goes on unabated. It's even worse with a nationwide shortage of premix fuel. But this is not the only burden weighing down the fisher folks. It's the politicization of the Premix Committee and the hijacking of the premix distribution by persons perceived to be affiliated with the governing party. A former member of the Premix Committee at the Voja Landing Beach, Moses Inchuga, confirms this claim.
It happened. I remember one Mr. Is a government appointee, I can say. Sometimes when the fuel come here, he used to come here to monitor. But before you realize, he placed order that I'm so and so, they will give him 30 yellow containers, sometimes 40. You will not take it away that time. You keep it with someone in the community. After the one we receive finish, he will start selling his.
The administrator of the National Premix Secretariat, Nana Asare, says laws frown on the politicization of the Premix Committee. Well, that report was filed by Investigative Desk. The full documentary airs at 8:30 p.m. here on the JoyNews channel. But Chief Fisherman at Voja, Joshua Adberto, says they have been compelled to sell their catch to market women at very high prices because of the cost of premix fuel.
If you go and buy the premix for high prices, and you go to the sea, you don't catch. And tomorrow too, you go and buy it high prices, you don't catch. The business is collapsing. And if you get the fish to you have to sell it higher prices for the woman. And if the woman they can go for the market, they will not get in to buy and sell it because the fish is higher. They sell you sell on higher prices. So if the woman they can go for market, it's difficult for them to sell it.
Administrator at the National Premix Secretariat, Nana Asare, admits the Secretariat is facing challenges in supplying premix fuel, but says the Fisheries Ministry is resolving the situation.
Premix Fuel admits that we have some challenges in the system currently, and these are not everyday challenges. You can bear with me that for the longest of time we haven't had challenges like this, but global issues affect our daily activities. As I speak to you now, you know what's happening in Russia, you know the export prices of super now, etc. So these are not normal times for all of us. Some of the BDCs are even having challenges importing fuel into the country. It is nobody's fault. These are global challenges. It's affecting everybody. You go to UK, they're having challenges. USA, they're having challenges. The Secretariat is also having challenges. We are feeling the brunt of some of these global challenges. But as I speak to you now, the minister, that is Honorable Mavis Hawakumsin, is working very hard with these BDCs to ensure that things come back to normalcy. We've communicated to all the landing beaches, we've communicated to all the MMDCs to allay their fears that very soon things will turn for the better. So we are hoping that the BDCs will be able to have some breakthrough, to be able to import some cargo, so that at least the fishermen can go to sea. So I want to use your medium to also allay the fears of all our fisher folks, that government is committed to ensuring that things get back to normalcy.
Let's do some other stories here on JoyNews. Prominent families in the Yilo and Manya Krobo municipalities say mortuaries are asking them to come for the remains of their loved ones over concerns they are decomposing in the wake of the community-wide power cut. The areas have been plunged into darkness since Wednesday, July 27, because ECG switched off feed power to communities in the municipalities by legal connections. According to ECG, some recalcitrant residents have tampered with their transformers and reconnected power to their homes after they were disconnected for refusal to accept prepaid meters. Speaking to JoyNews, a resident and youth activist Edmond Abuaje said about 5 families are getting incessant calls from the mortuary attendants to retrieve the bodies of their relatives because it is rotten at the facility.
I've had about 4 or 5 persons calling to inform me that some who have their family relations of dead bodies at the mortuary, they called to inform me that some of the hospitals have called them to come and pick their dead bodies because they've started going bad at the mortuaries, and then the mortuary can no longer foot the bill of fueling the generators. National Security are inviting some chiefs.
Sure.
Yes. It happened today that some chiefs who have been leading the agitation and some group leaders who have also been leading the agitation have been invited by the National Security this morning. They've been in the meeting since morning, but then we've not had the feedback as to the outcome of the meeting. We are on standby waiting to hear from them.
Local Municipal Health Director Irina Ofer says hospitals are now compelled to ration power because it's costing them more to keep the generators on.
At 12, with total power outage, there is no change in Yilo Krobo and Lower Manya Krobo. We are still in darkness. Power has not been restored.
And how is this impacting healthcare services now?
Yes, you understand today is 12th day. So facilities are spending more and more on fuel to fuel the generators. And as a result, some of the facilities, they have started rationing the power. So I learned that at our government hospital, when they have a case at the theater, the generator is running. So when the case is done, generator will go off. I was also informed that Martins, I think from tomorrow, the generator will run till 2 p.m. Then it will go off. Yilokrobo District Hospital, they are also using generator whilst OPD is running. When OPD is done, they switch off the generator. So on averagely, even if they run for 5-6 hours a day, for 2 days, they use fuel close to 3,000 Ghana cedis.
We also do understand that the mortuaries are asking families to come for their remains because it is costing hospitals more. Can you confirm this?
I can't confirm that. I haven't received official information on that. But I know some of them, I think they are considering, if the power is not restored today or tomorrow, so probably by Wednesday, because Wednesday it will be 2 weeks, 14 days. So probably they will be asking families to do that. But for now, I think they are still able to keep the bodies.